I try not to. It's been trouble with those.
Thank you.
Okay, I have 7 p.m. on Thursday, February 27th.
I guess I need to go sign.
We will start the evening with a couple of public hearings. If Jay, you may have heard Jay, if you haven't signed in, please sign in the sheet. Mr. Weaver, we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Before we get started, I have kind of a script here that I read before every public hearing, just so we're all kind of on the same page. We will, like I said, we're here for the public hearing for the Taco Bell site plan and the commercial building site plan public hearing. My name is Trey White. I'm chairman of the City Hall Planning Commission. The purpose of this public hearing meeting is to obtain citizen comment and concerns on the site plans that are being presented. Before we get started, I'd like to give a brief overview of how we intend for this public hearing, kind of the flow. First, we'll have the presentation of the site plan by the applicant. Mr. Rogers, you're representing that. Thank you. Dialogue between the applicant and the planning commission or the public will be minimal, if any. We're letting them kind of state what the development is and kind of provide an overview of the particular site plan being presented. After the applicant presentation is completed, then we'll open the floor for public comments and concerns. There are a few rules that we'd like to follow for the public comment time. We would ask that you come to the microphone here at front if you have any comments and state your name and address as it means for us to kind of confirm if you're a resident of Vilonia or not. We would ask each speaker to try to keep their time to 2 to 3 minutes just to help us with the efficiency of the evening. And I state this for every site plan public hearing that we have, but we ask unruly behavior is prohibited. Please be courteous and considerate with your language and actions. This is not near as full of a house as what we've had in the past, so I don't expect any issues. After the public comment time is completed, we will then offer the applicant any opportunity for closing comments. This is an effort so if there's any questions that are raised by the public during their comment, any concerns, the applicant has some time to either clarify or address, if you would like, any of those public comments. Okay? After those closing comments by the applicant, we will adjourn the public hearing meeting, and then we will transition after a short break into the regularly scheduled planning commission meeting. All right? And just please note we're having a public hearing prior to the planning commission meeting, not only to comply with section 6.1 of the zoning ordinance, but also so that we as planning commissioners can take into any public comment and consideration. Okay? We will have 2 different site plans. I will actually, we will go through each one as an individual. We're not going to do these collectively, even though they're being presented by the same person. We will start with the Taco Bell site plan, taking presentation, public comment, any closing comments. We will then transition into the commercial building one after that. Okay? Any questions? All right, Mr. Rogers, if you wouldn't mind to come present on the Taco Bell site plan and just give an overview of it. Just for the public, you may know that the site plans that are being presented are posted on the wall. And I'll turn it over to you.
Mr. White, do we want to look at the lot split first?
So we will look at the lot split as part of the planning commission proceedings. Okay. We're not necessarily looking at the lot split because it's not a development as part of the public hearing.
Very good.
We're not looking at mayor using the issue there. Okay. So we will go with Taco Bell site plan and then the commercial building site.
Okay, very good. So thank you for seeing this and hearing this. These 2 projects. First off, this is Taco Bell, and so we're all familiar with Taco Bell. This is a 2-acre tract, and then we're gonna divide it and have Taco Bell is gonna reside on 1.04 acres, so it's the rectangular shape, track that's there on the wall. So, just slightly over an acre, so we're all familiar with Taco Bell. This is a unique Taco Bell. It's the first one of this size, so all the fast food restaurants have tried apps, the app lane, and they've tried and a lot of them are successful with the double lanes. This is a single lane with a bypass, but it's just one menu board. But what's unique about this one is it's a little bit smaller than the Taco Bells that we're all familiar with. So this one's just under 2,000 square feet. There's space for 24 persons to sit down in the dining area, which is a little bit smaller. That was their shrink point. They shrunk the kitchen a little bit as well. But so this is a unique prototype that's come out for this site. So it's being looked at. This could be a new site that we see it all over in the south here for sure. So there's 21 parking spaces proposed that support this, and we're real proud that so on this particular 1 acre, there's 3 driveways, and they're not all used. There's one of those 3 that's used right now for a house. So, but we're proud that we're going to take those 3, and the highway department's happy with us as well. We're going to take 3 of the 3 existing driveways on this 1 acre, and we're going to make one, nice. It's wider, large radii, tying into the shoulder and to the highway. So that'll be really nice, and that's safer. Of course, it'll serve Taco Bell and its customers really well. So I'm happy my name's John Rogers. There's a whole team of people that work on this. I'm just civil engineer, but I'd be happy to try to answer any questions that the commissioner has.
Right now, let's do the public hearing. When we transition into the actual planning commission, I'm sure there'll be some questions we got here, but if you have anything else to add, if not,
I do not at this time.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, if you don't mind, have a seat. And then, do we have any public comment on the proposed site plan? All right. If you don't have any public comment, I don't see any reason to have any closing comments at this time, and so we will end. I've got 7:08. We've ended the site plan, the Taco Bell site plan public hearing, and we will transition into the commercial building site plan. And John, you're up again.
So, I feel like a ball hog with the agenda. Sorry about that. So, but yeah, thank you for hearing this as well. So immediately adjacent to this proposed Taco Bell is this proposed commercial building, and so we'll have so remember the purchase lot, the subject lot was 2 acres, and then we're going to take an acre and give it to Taco Bell, and then an acre that's shaped like an L on the middle drawing on the wall there. So that has some frontage, and then it has the L part, it's towards the back, parallel with the creek. So that the building, I don't remember the square feet. It may be published on the plan. It should be 100. So 2,100 square feet. Thank you. I think it's 35 feet wide. Maybe that's 60 feet deep. So, plus or minus there with the square footage. There's a handful of parking spaces up front, 7 spaces, and then there's some parking and some back of the house activities, the dumpsters in the back, with a nice drive between Taco Bell and between this proposed building that we're talking about, and so that runs along the side of the building, so serving the front and the back and providing access to this building. Some benefits here. This is, the impetus of this is Taco Bell, and that's what the enthusiasm is about. But when Taco Bell's done, there's a very narrow strip of land here, and it's a little bit hidden behind if you're coming from the westerly direction and you think about where Subway is, Subway's pretty close to the highway. And so it's blocking, the visual is blocking from maybe coming from Conway or what have you. You're blocked by the Subway building and that strip mall. So this is there. It's between Subway and Taco Bell, and so it'll provide some. The backside of Subway and that strip mall isn't the most attractive. So this will provide some screening to that with some opaque fencing, a real nice building, well lit. Will complement the recreational trail that's there now, and the lights that are there. So it'll flow really well with the Taco Bell development, which, whichever direction you're coming from, you're going to see Taco Bell. Thank you. That's all I have on that.
Do we have any public comment on the proposed commercial building site plan? Okay. We will conclude the commercial building site plan at 7:11 p.m. And we will transition into our regularly scheduled planning commission meeting. All right. We'll go ahead and call that to order. I've got 7:12 p.m. I'm going to amend our agenda before we get into any orders of business. I'd like, we started this here last couple of years. I'd like to vote on officers, and just to be sure that we install our officers at the beginning of the year. So at that point, I'll open it up for any comments.
I'll make a motion that you retain chairman.
I'll second.
I don't mind. Do we want to do both? We have a motion on the floor and we have a second. Do we want to do both chairman and secretary at the same time? Or do y'all want to try to separate those? Do it either way. So separate them? Okay, so we have Ryan has a motion, Glenn has a second. All those in favor of Trey to remain chairman of the planning commission, please say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? There are none. Carries.
I'll make a second motion that Todd remain as secretary.
Second. Heartily.
Heartily. All right, we have a motion. We have a second from Gina for Todd Bean to remain as secretary of the planning commission. Are there any other comments? If not, all those in favor of Todd, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? There are none.
Housekeeping.
Congratulations. We're done. There we go. All right. We have no old business, and so we will, actually need to approve the minutes. So let's go into the approval of the minutes from November. We did not have a planning commission meeting in December, nor did we have one in January. So if you received your packet, or if you have reviewed your packet, we have the meeting minutes from November. There was I don't know that I need to read all of this like we've done in the past. We had a conditional use presentation. As far as that's concerned, we had several things there as far as comment, and then we also had a discussion of laundromat at 1011 Main Street that the gentleman had brought up. Any other comments, or do I have a motion regarding the minutes from November?
I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes as presented.
Okay, we have a motion from Gina. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, I'm going to say Mr. Cook. Motion from Gina, a second from Charles. Do we have any Further comment? Not all those in favor of approving the minutes with no vote, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? There are none. Minutes passed. Okay. Let's transition into the lot splits. Mr. Rogers, John, we're going to get you up here quite a bit. What we're going to try to do, if y'all open to it, is I would like to cover items A, B, and D, all with John here at the same time, since they're all regarding the same piece of property. And then we will, obviously we'll vote on those individually, but then we will take care of the mobile food truck at the end. All right? All right. Do we have anybody here for the mobile food truck this evening? Okay. That makes it easy. All right.
Guess not.
All right. Questions for John at this point in time regarding the lot split? Do we have any questions regarding that?
I only have one. What's the width on this L-shaped lot? Because on my little deal, I had a hard time reading it.
Yeah.
So just what is the width?
Okay, and so I think that's probably a good transition to, because our site plan that we received in our package for the L-shaped lot, the commercial building does not look like that, right?
Not what I received.
That's right. Go ahead.
83. 2 B.
I do have a larger copy of that here if you want.
That's right. That's all I really need to know.
Okay.
Personally. I just had a hard time picking up that number.
Yeah, it's
On this
designed to be
design.
2 foot by 3 foot, so.
Yeah.
And you reviewed all of you don't know of any discrepancies between our current codes and what you proposed on your site?
No,
Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. I know, I received a copy of an email that Trey Foster had sent, and I believe that he had sent it to, it's addressed to Sean Bento. Is he in your office?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
And he was talking about a few different items regarding Taco Bell development. And one of the items in particular was talking about, and I'm kind of blurring lines here, folks, so forgive me, but we have sidewalks and we have street lighting and things of that nature. Will you be making a note on those to preserve or rehab after existing conditions, or how do you handle that?
Absolutely. So it's very important that we preserve the sidewalk and the street lights. So we're working strategically with our driveways around those lights, so we don't have to spend any money relocating them. But if we, for example, when we remove, so there's 4 driveways now, and so the nice concrete pathway at the driveways is mostly an asphalt patch. So what we would do is when we remove that driveway all the way to the highway, then we'll come back with concrete and match. We'll make it better than what it was.
So do you make any provisions in your plans for pedestrian traffic at that point in time, or do you kind of leave that up to the contractor, because I know that portion of sidewalk is utilized and everything, so.
So I was out on site at about 3:30 today with Entergy, and there was several students that got out of school and was using the path. So it's not on the plans right now, but I'll make a note to, we need to keep that open and safe for during construction. So I don't usually get involved at that level, but we'll have a pre-construction meeting and we'll make sure we address that. That's important.
Okay. Do we want to, I'd like to have some feedback here from the commission. Do we want to just take these item by item, or are we good to go ahead and vote on the lot split and then ask more questions regarding the site plans? Is there any kind of feedback here on how y'all would like to address these? I'm kind of looking at it as a whole site, I'll be honest.
I think we just break it down and do it pretty quickly too. Because the lot split, to me, is a minor subdivision, no street, no deal. As long as we had to over 60 feet, if we got 83, that's all I couldn't pick up.
Right.
And so we got a lot split. I say we're good.
Okay, well, if we're good to address the lot split, I would entertain a motion as far as that's concerned.
I'll make the motion to approve the lot split.
Okay,
Second.
we have a motion. Charles, second, Gina, to approve the lot split. Any other questions regarding that? Not all those in favor of approving the lot split as presented, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? There are none. Okay? All right. Site plan for Taco Bell. How would you like to address that? Any questions regarding that? I'll be honest, I don't have any questions on the Taco Bell one. I do have questions on the next one, so I'd like to go ahead and get.
Yeah, no, you already brought up the sidewalks and stuff was the main one. The only thing I was questioning, honestly, and it really doesn't pertain to much, is delivery trucks and 18-wheelers and making sure they're not gonna be sitting out there on the highway.
That's
Yeah.
right, and sanitation truck. No,
Yeah.
we've got, the drive aisle is, between the parking spaces is 28 feet wide. So, I mean, we accommodate, we ran the model with it.
Okay.
So,
The only other thing it's not part of this, but be aware, in our 6.7 in our sign ordinance, like you said, we're gonna put a big sign. You better make sure you look at that sign ordinance real close.
okay,
Because it's gonna, the speed shows the letter, the height, and all that. That's probably not part of the site plan, but at the end, we don't get caught in the end.
no, absolutely. I mean, we've got a national
Sign.
sign company that will come in and permit that separate, kind of like the building permit, we'll do that separate of this.
We'll make
But
aware of that.
they're wanting to do a 30-foot tall sign up front, so we'll have to get with you on that. Make sure we're also not looking for any variances for anything, so we'll adhere.
So I'm looking at this as a preliminary site plan. We will have a final
I
site.
understand, but I just wanted to throw that out there.
100%. And the other thing,
Upfront.
totally agree. And the other thing is, if you can acknowledge that y'all will be responding to Trey Foster's letter.
Okay.
It's dated February 20th, 2025. I don't know that, I'll leave that between your office and him.
Yeah, we'll respond to every one of them, and most of it's about easements, serving the Taco Bell side, easements across the track feed.
Right.
So we'll respond to every one of those, and there's no problem complying.
Okay, cool. All right. Anything else? Not entertain a motion?
No, we have a motion in a second.
You do?
No, we did vote.
That was for the lot split. But I don't think we have a motion.
You're right.
Taco Bell is good.
I'll make a motion.
Okay. Have a motion.
I'll second
A motion to approve the site plan, preliminary site plan as presented.
Correct.
Have a motion from Mr. Coker and a second from Ryan to approve the preliminary site plan as presented, recognizing the comments that were provided regarding signage and the acknowledgement of Trey Foster's letter. Any other comment? Gina, did I get that right? Pretty close. Good. All right, all those in favor of approving the site plan as presented with noting the comments on signage from Mr. Coker and their acknowledgement of the letter from Trey Foster, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? There are none. All right, site plan for the commercial building. So the concern I had, John, on two things is that what we received in our packet is this. So that way, okay, so I'm just gonna speak, my reaction was that it didn't have enough information to serve as our preliminary site plan, without it being on the title block and everything. Now, I see this when I walk in here tonight, and that's closer to what we needed, from that standpoint. But I would, since we did not have that in our packet when it was presented to us, I haven't reviewed, I'll be honest, I haven't reviewed that drawing as it is. And so I would like to, I don't know that I necessarily have any issue with the usage as it is, but I would like to see, I'm kind of like I won't say postpone, but we just wouldn't take any voice vote if the planning commission is willing or, is in agreement on that proposed commercial building at this point in time. Now, y'all may be comfortable enough to take a vote. I don't know, but that's what we had.
Well, I had a couple of questions, and I don't know what your questions exactly were, so I didn't see what you're looking at.
Let's see, it's where, like, if you look at there, we don't have some parking spaces over here, but we're talking about.
Yeah, it's hard to see, but it's, you don't need many at 250 square feet per spot on a commercial building. It's only going to take 6, isn't it? It's 250 feet.
That was my question, because I thought you mentioned that there were 8 in the front, but I'm only counting 6 with the handicap spot.
Yeah, we need to look at that in detail. It may be 300 per gross square foot for one spot per 300.
No, it's
250.
250 square feet
I mean,
for each deal. And
the
then your building, the front entrance is going to have to be in the front of your width. So, your front entrance can't be on the side. I don't know how I don't know what you're planning on doing with it.
Yeah, that's one of my questions. I know it says commercial. We heard, are we looking at laundromat? Are we looking at office? Do we know what the usage is?
And I can't explain that we've made a submittal with the title block. I didn't bring that tonight, so
Okay.
I don't know why it's not in the commissioner's package. So
Okay.
if we, so my question back is, are we going to table it, or can we open up for questions and just try to vet out what it looks like?
Glenn, you have one that's on the title block. You got that, I believe. Is that right?
I got this.
You got one on the title block?
Yeah. So,
Patrick, this is your world a little bit.
Yes.
Do you have concerns?
I'm kind of concerned about the driveway entrance there. Is it gonna have any radiuses? Is it prepared for like any emergency services that you get in there? That it say catches on fire and
for
such?
sure, yeah, for sure. So, we're definitely don't want to present anything that asks for variances or veers from the development code, the International Building Code, or Vilonia as well. So, that's kind of the forefront. The number of parking, how many is shown there in the front? It may be the same as it's on the wall.
It's showing 3 closest to the street, and then 3 including the handicap spot closest to the building, and then 3 at the back.
3 at the back. So we would exceed, that ratio. So that would comply. What was the other question?
So do we know a usage? I mean, not quite.
So we do not have a tenant signed up. One of the things a goal here is, so the Taco Bell is the driver,
Sure.
and which I appreciate everybody's approval on that. So Taco Bell, that's the focus, but then they want to control what goes on around them, behind them, and I wish they could control to the east as well, but that they don't have access to that property. So, there's restrictions. While we don't know what the tenant is going to be, and there's restrictions, we know it's not going to be a Mexican restaurant. We know, that's literally in the restricted covenants for this. So that's funny. And then, it's also got a view corridor. I talked about the view for a driver coming down the highway. So there's a view corridor restriction that sets the building back a certain distance from the highway. And
I noticed you've also, calling this on this side, plan, the remaining track B back here on the back side. So are you trying to set this up for like some kind of other future development potentially, or what are y'all thinking as far as that goes?
it's, so the Taco Bell, is K-Man out of Northwest Arkansas, and, they're the largest franchise holder in North America. So they're not thinking to build anything back there. That they would be more interested in control than something, an eyesore doesn't move in back there. So
That's gonna be mostly in the floodplain.
Yes, sir.
Anyway, that's pretty much all floodplain.
Large part of that,
Yeah, but I won't, yeah.
there's the floodplain and maybe some environmental concerns. So it'll be natural. Patrick, you mentioned about access, and so the drive coming beside the building, the proposed drive, there's turnaround, sufficient radius, and behind that to turn around, allow safety vehicles and sanitation trucks.
Notice on there, I don't really see any kind of reinforced area to set a dumpster for it, or be serviced by a commercial dumpster, or is it going to be kind of individual?
I mean, we don't know yet without a tenant and what the waste stream would be, but we would want to have a dumpster. I mean, a dumpster enclosure and a pad for it, so so it won't deteriorate. So it would need that.
Yes, sir.
I would bet so.
And I'm going, Jimmy, I'm going to ask you, do you know if Trey do you know if Trey Foster has reviewed this site plan for the commercial building?
yeah, I'm sure for sure.
Yes, he has. Okay. Has he provided any comment regarding that as far as you know?
When I visited with him, he didn't have any comments or.
He didn't have any comments or concerns as far as that, but he just had one here to talk about. Okay.
And we'll have this. We may not be in the public format, but we'll have a building permit application forthcoming, and so there'll be a couple more rounds of review for sure to make sure that we're doing what we say we're going to do with parking and access and dumpster pad and the driveway radii. So we'll widen the existing driveway.
And I think the front has space to 60, has to be minimum 60, if I read that right. The front entrance.
As far as when you say the front entrance, the front
Of the building.
of the building,
Yeah. I mean, that's a minor deal, really.
But it's important that we'll have that front entrance towards the highway for sure.
so I've got a minimum lot area.
I think the minimum was 60 by 100
But they sit in the town center area. They've got 100 feet by 60 is what the lot area.
Yeah, I knew it was 60, I knew the other was covered, so.
I have a question about the fencing that you mentioned earlier. Is that gonna be part of this site development or the other site development, or?
It would, the best way to look at it is it would be a part of this building, this commercial building.
So you mentioned that it was opaque fencing.
Taco Bell will yes, it's
Okay.
probably gonna be 6 feet tall, like a privacy fence, but they'll use the synthetic wood, colored wood, and my hesitation is that Taco Bell will probably build that fence as part of their process, but it would be on this property.
Even though I don't know, this fence not shown at this point in time, but that's kind of the intent, was to have a fence.
Yeah, there's a buy-sell agreement, and that's with Taco Bell, and so that's a requirement. I got part of that.
I got
Is on this site, is that a fire hydrant at the back where it's behind that proposed gravel area?
So it is. There's an existing fire hydrant up near Subway, But then where you're talking about is sort of towards the back, and maybe there's someone here that can better explain that, but it looks like it's a 2-inch blow-off hydrant, not a firefighting
Okay.
apparatus.
So the closest fire hydrant would be the one next to Subway then?
Correct, and then Taco Bell will install another one in front of Taco Bell, so.
One other concern I have here is you showed a lot of retention areas on the Taco Bell site plan. I'm not really seeing anyone's here to change, you're gonna be changing the drainage characteristics of the site pretty heavily by having the asphalt and gravel areas. Is there plans to offset that and kind of slow down the runoff?
Yeah, good question. So Taco Bell will have a couple bioswales, and we're just gonna have some ditches that will undercut. It's a high PI or a lot of clay in this soil. And so we'll dig that out, and we'll wrap it with a filter fabric and put it with a sandy media that'll absorb water. So that's Taco Bell. So on this one, everything's going to sheet flow southerly. And so at the end of what's now probably gravel, but sounds like we need to pave it for the sanitation truck. But just south of that, there's a large vegetative buffer before the creek. And so that will become our attenuation of stormwater. So we'll work that stormwater detention there. And we'll have to it hasn't been accomplished yet for this point, but this building will also do a drainage study, hydraulics and hydrology to Trey Foster. So he'll have, and it being over, I think it's just barely over an acre, which triggers the detention requirement. So it will have to do that.
Okay.
Do you think that the intent is for this construction to parallel to Taco Bell, or do you think Taco Bell goes first, or do you have any idea?
Taco Bell's, they've got it down to an art, and so they have 87 days allocated to build Taco Bell. So that's 87 days, so it's less than 3 months, which is pretty amazing. And so, they'll break ground. Taco Bell will break ground in March. We'll have rain days, but then they'll just work extra, maybe generator lights to stay on schedule. So Taco Bell will drive. They need elbow room to build Taco Bell and at that speed, and so they'll use this property. They need to remove there's 2 or 3 power poles that serve the house and the shop that's there now. So one of the first orders of action will be to remove that and to use this lot that we're talking about as a staging area with the job trailer and things like that. So deliveries. So that'll allow them to go really fast. So, this building wouldn't start construction until they were pretty neatly compacted. It probably will start before Taco Bell finishes, but it'll be maybe halfway through where they don't need the large earthwork equipment on site and all the building facade and kitchen equipment that'll be delivered and stored.
So did we get the questions answered, Patrick, as far as radius? I was kind of reading.
Did we get a question answered on that? Are you guys gonna have like a 25-foot radius or such to the driveway entrance?
We will, and we'll permit that through the highway department, and they'll require those minimum levels for.
And I'm guessing you guys will size the pipe for the drainage of that down as well.
Yeah, it's going to be 18 inches, but we'll back that with calculations.
Yes.
So how do y'all want to handle this as far as, we know what we got in the packet, we know what we got here posted tonight, and do we have our questions answered? Also, if you look, in the zoning ordinance, we have a couple options. One is approve the site plan as submitted, approve the site plan for future review. This is obviously preliminary site plan is. How would y'all like to, or how would y'all propose to proceed? Anybody want to step out there? Are we comfortable?
I'm comfortable, at least the preliminary, We want to move, I want to keep it moving, we want to keep it moving, and I just don't see, personally, I see what your concerns were, but I also I believe in the process too. We don't want to hold, I just don't want to hold it up, and the details are so minor that we probably cover it in the building permit or whatnot, or in that phase of the project.
And do we want to look at approve the site plan for future review, so to speak, or do you want to go ahead and approve the site plan as presented? Does anybody want
I think future review.
to, you think future review? You'd like to see any kind of revisions made?
Yeah, I mean, just for us to give our,
I mean, we've got a little time on this, and so again, I really appreciate the approval of the Taco Bell. So, but, I mean, we want everything we can get, and which involves some trust of us in the developments that we're doing here. But you know, and I'm happy to answer any other questions there might be. But if, you know,
Like I said, it's not planned on being developed until the Taco Bell's done anyway, so you may be providing another review of this as far as another preliminary review before final, say kind of what you do.
I would
be willing to do that, I guess, or.
It would be, you know, for the, it's hard to secure the lease without the, you know, levels of approval.
Okay.
So maybe a consideration would be, you know, to approve it upon the condition of Trey Foster and other administrative staff approval and, you know, conformance to the codes. So we could streamline that process and not present this site plan again in a public hearing. But that would be a conditional approval.
Well, I can understand, you know, like what Mr. Croker said, I don't know if we want to hold it up.
I'm fine for that.
I am too. Yeah. Trey Foster looking at it, of course, I guess he's gonna look at it, he had any comments, but.
I know we've had a few comments tonight, and I know you wrote down some things as far as that goes.
so let's list the things that we're concerned about and just define
Just list
those.
it in the motion.
Yeah, and so we can approve the site plan, and I know it talks about for future review, or do we just want to approve the site plan contingent? I think John, let's just kind of make sure we're on the same page.
Sure.
Written down here, what the things accommodate. What do you have on your list?
6 foot fence with an exclamation point for some reason. So we need the entryway in the front of the building. Another condition was to meet the parking ratio by the city of Vilonia.
Patrick, does he need to add anything in your mind as far as the turning radius or I know, Gene, you also were talking about the dumpster, I believe, or was it maybe Patrick on that as far as?
Yeah, go ahead.
I would like to see the radiuses show on there. I just think the way it currently looks right now really won't apply on that one. A concrete dumpster pad with a reinforced area in front of it would be nice to see too. Regardless of what's going to be occupying that building, it'd be nice to know it's going to fully meet all the requirements. I am kind of curious what the width of the sidewalk is there where in front of it will be. Is that like a 3 foot or a 5 foot sidewalk?
At the building, I'm not sure what the dimension is. We'll have some vehicle overhang with the bumper, and so we want to have an 8 foot sidewalk. So it probably shows 5 or 6 feet, but we'll make that 8 feet.
Are you talking about this one? This one over here on the
Yes.
side? So
Maybe on the west
we're
side.
talking about that side right there, I guess. Kind of what-
Okay, yeah, so,
It's showing 11 feet at the front. But it
yeah,
doesn't have a measurement for the side, for the west side.
so the 11 feet would be a 5 foot landing coming out of the front entry, and then a 6 foot horizontal for the 12 to 1 slope for the handicap ramp. So that 5 foot 6, 11. So on the side, though, it's not that useful. So if we have a sidewalk on the side, you know, it's as minimal as it could be. So 4 foot would be the minimum.
Okay.
I personally would rather wider drive than that sidewalk being, I mean, we need 4-foot space, so we need a 4-foot sidewalk to protect the building, but that driveway width was pretty critical through there. But I'll revise and resubmit to the city and.
Yes.
And so.
So we're saying approval on.
Just let my son ride and take the lead, he started, let him be satisfied.
Ryan, what do you got down there?
Just glance it real quick.
And signage, we need to, just like Taco Bell, we need to adhere to the signage and permit it separately than this.
Okay.
Then the sidewalk, back up front, so.
Anything damaged,
Yeah.
specifically that sidewalk and lights up front, we need to repair. Like it was or better.
Want that part of the motion?
Well, no, that doesn't have to be part of the motion, that's just given.
Do you want me to make it? You want me?
No, you do it very well, so I'll let you.
I'll make a motion that we approve the preliminary site plan with the following conditions: that it meets any comments from Trey Foster, that it has a 6-foot fence, that the radius is shown for the entry drive to meet requirements, that the entry for the commercial building is located on toward the highway, the north side of the building, and that the site plan would contain a reinforced concrete pad for the dumpster site. And that the site plan would, meet the parking requirements for the number of parking spaces.
Because I think they may have that on revised one right now. Yes. We have a motion on the floor.
Second.
With a second from Ryan. Any further comment? Mr. Rogers, do you think that motion gets you on down the road?
It does, I appreciate it, and I'm mentally adding things like we're gonna have enhanced landscaping, and so there'll be some nice packaging we're gonna add to this, so we'll be proud of it, so.
We have a motion. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? There are none.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate your time tonight. Good to see you. All right, on to the next one. We now have the mobile food truck. Like here, Marshall.
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Yes, sir.
First off, I want to say thank y'all for your work on the Taco Bell and the commercial building, even though this is a big deal for our small town, and we're very pleased and happy. The individual that has come to put that in, I did let him go ahead. We talked to his staff to go ahead and go in there on a temporary basis. The individual was, I had a little bit of a language barrier with him, as the rest of the staff did, I guess is the best way to say it. I do not know where he's at, and we were trying to be nice, like we're supposed to be. So I will take a little bit of direction from the planning commission. I don't know why he's not here tonight, so I guess that's the best way I can explain it. Any questions? I know that's not the best explanation, that's the best one. No good deed goes unpunished.
This is the mobile food truck that's currently, at the
Old Big Bench.
Coffee, the
Yeah.
Old Big Bench building.
There is a letter stated in here from, or it says the agreement between Cody Golf and the food truck releasing space.
I can't tell, the only information I can provide to the commission is he did meet all the health department and everything was met. I may have overstepped, if it is, my bad. I was just trying to help the young man.
Sure.
Like I said, we have a little bit of language barrier. I keep going back, that's the only way I can explain it, but he's, like I say, his food's good. From what I've heard, I'm not having any, I'm not up here to represent him, but I'm up here to kind of tell you what we did do.
Characterize what's going on.
Yeah, so, but with that, I'll get out of the way and I'll take guidance from y'all.
Anybody have any comment or?
I mean, honestly, if he's got health department approval and everything else, I really don't see a problem with it sitting there.
Is this like a conditional use permit that we're?
No, it's a, he has to bring it before, if I remember correctly, he has to bring it before the,
Commercial food truck, like it has
yeah,
to come
come part of
forward.
the ordinance, he's got to bring it here, and so we look at it, just verify that he's got an agreement, he's putting it in the site plan. I think there is I need to go back and look at the actual ordinance, but I believe they can only be in certain zoning area, like highway mixed use, if I remember correctly, which this would fall in that area. And so we're kind of verifying those, there's very minimal requirements, is all that is. As far as I know, he meets those requirements.
Yes, he's a nice fellow.
Yep. Given that he meets the requirements, I didn't entertain a motion of approval, or if anybody else has a comment, or any other reason why we should.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Second.
And a second. All right. I knew this was gonna happen to me, because I didn't write it down. Name.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I got Bob on it.
Bob, that's what it was.
What you talking about, the guy with the mobile truck?
Yeah.
He said, hang on, I'll get it back.
Yeah, Bob would have the language.
Quiz.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would.
I apologize, Bob, that's my fault.
It's okay, I forgive you, Trey.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, I remembered your name.
There you go. We have a motion to approve. Floor, any other comment? All those in favor of approving, as presented, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? There are none. All right, any other announcements?
None at this time, Mr.
I would like to recognize we do have 3 new members on the planning commission tonight: Patrick, Bob, Brandon.
Hey, he remembered.
I know.
He gets a taco.
Yeah. All right. Thank y'all for being willing to serve. We appreciate it very much. All right. Anything else? Any other announcement, Mr. Mayor?
And I know that. Just thank y'all for your service.
All right. John, we appreciate it. Thank you for your patience and working with us. All right. At that, I will adjourn 7:53 p.m. Thank you.